Hey, let's talk about episode 8. So what we all saw was an emotional roller coaster, right? Let's calm down and think. I rewatched the episode and wrote everything that I noticed. So, in the beginning we see images of different places, most of the real world. There's a dot, which would most likely symbolize Kane's AI getting fed information to become the AI he is, which also leads to the knowledge he has of C and A. We also see the red dot get trapped, and a new blue dot forms, and is also getting fed info. But the red dot gets out and consumes the blue dot. And from what we know, Kane has a similarity with consumption. If you haven't seen other people's theory videos, we see this in episode 1, when Kaufmo abstracts the drawings on the wall. Yeah, where Kaufmo's getting eaten or consumed by Kane. Also, there's people who noticed that when Jax was getting abstracted, you could see, like, in the little hallucination that he was getting, that Jax was getting, you can see forms of Kane, like, eating him. So, consumption. Anyways, the background, it shows like a computer screen, but then it fades out, showing that the AI is now in control, and creates the circus. Then we see other abstracted characters along with Scratch and Queenie. From what we see, Kinger and Queenie know each other, and most likely married. We know that Kinger worked on creating the AI. If you saw the entire episode, you should know this. And if they know each other, either Queenie worked along with them, or was just there because with Kinger. Then there was a brutal cut off to Queenie getting put into the cellar. Now Kinger is all alone. What I would also like to mention is that we can see Scratch arguing with Kane, most likely because this is the first group of humans to get pulled into the circus, and most likely are the workers or programmers of Kane's AI, or CNA. That's why Kane was so shocked that someone else got in. We'll talk about that right now. Then Ragatha arrives.
Hello? Guys?
Starting by saying guys, meaning when she entered the circus or put the headset on, she wasn't alone in the CNA office. When Kane saw Ragatha, again he was shocked because he said
new one! So it is possible!
Showing that he didn't even know that people outside of CNN can get into the circus. And when Ragatha entered, she's confused, right? And when Kane sees her, instead of calling her a new human, he calls her...
Is this really...
I was hoping new minds could show up! I have to make some more preparations for this amazing breakthrough!
A new mind. And he said that he needed to make preparations, but in my opinion, sounds like he's covering up like, oh, I need to study you now. I need to see what's inside your new mind. Later on, we see the group, and they're like in that little area sitting together where they usually sit. And Jax is somehow, in a way, I don't know how to say it, he's scared of Gangle. Like, he was getting shocked at her agreement when he was saying, like, about all the what ifs, and like, that's all in the past now. He also glances at her when they're in the cafe, and says,
you know, things were just fine here until you and Zubul came along.
Not specifying who in Zubul. It cuts to Kane being in his office with Bubble, and he's over here thinking, like, why are they not, you know, you've seen the episode, right? When Bubble starts pestering Kane, he says these specific lines. Well, everything he says is like part of this theory. It's more of these that are like more. He says,
maybe you deserved to be abandoned. You really were the lesser of the two.
We know that the Amazing Digital Circus has references to, I forgot its name, to Raggedy Ann and Andy, and there's also some biblical references. And if this is actually going towards the biblical references, Cain and Abel, they were the sons of Adam and Eve. Cain got jealous of Abel because Abel was like this perfect child and killed him. And that's what Cain did. Like I explained earlier, the blue dot resembles Abel and the red dot resembles Cain. Cain consumed Abel out of jealousy. Like what Bubble says, you really were the lesser of the two. That could have meant that the programmers thought that maybe Cain wasn't enough, and Cain saw that and got jealous. Kind of like going turbo, or like in Wreck-It Ralph. Cain was most likely an AI that was not what the programmers wanted, so once he saw they were working on a new AI, he got jealous and felt abandoned, so he consumed the other AI to gain control and being powerful. That's why Cain gets so sad or mad when he hears bad comments about his adventures. They are literally saying what he does is awful. He's supposed to be all powerful and amazing, but the others don't see that. Like what Pomni says, he's literally blinded by his own ego.
You're a horrible host! You don't care about us at all! You care more about stroking your own ego than giving us anything we'd actually enjoy!
Once Cain gets mad, his entire speech of how humans are ungrateful and stuff, he's saying what he thinks of humans, including the workers and the programmers who made him. He goes on saying,
Who do they think they are? I give them everything, and they spit in my face! Don't they know what I'm capable of? Humans! They only think about themselves. They're spoiled!
and so on. Cain probably feels as if the humans that created him were selfish to think he wasn't enough. He's trying to prove himself as something worthy. And everybody in the circus isn't helping, so...
Don't need to scream if you ain't got a mouth!
Which is a reference. While they're in the cafe, Jack seems uncomfortable with the fact the bucket makes Kinger sane. He seemed very confused, and he even walked out saying,
Oh my god. This is real.
I have no idea what he could be referring to. And while Kinger is sane, he mentions Scratch, which we should know is the dog that we can see crossed out on a door, and is also the first abstraction, which is what Kinger says in episode 7, which also triggered Cain, because something went wrong, apparently. He mentioned that Scratch was trying to make something, but couldn't remember what it was. What if Scratch was working on a new AI, and Cain somehow took over it? That would explain why Scratch seems so upset towards Cain during the flashback. And what Bubble said, it's your fault, which is, it basically is, because he let his ego get in the way, so now everything's like this. Just as Kinger said, in a way they have control of the circus. That's why he was able to make a healing butterfly, and Pomni was able to make the exit reappear. If you think about it, in episode 1, Cain said that he created it because he knew how much they wanted one, but nobody, even though he was creating it, nobody else saw it except for Pomni, so she really believed there was an exit, which caused it to appear. I'm guessing Kinger really believed that there was a way that he could heal Ragatha in episode where they get guns, and he made a butterfly. Kinger also mentioned that Cain isn't his real name.
I can't remember what we originally called him, but...
I think that Cain renamed himself as Cain to make himself seem more in power. Possibly meaning that Abel is Scratch and Cain is Kinger. Because it's weird to think that a company named Cain and Abel would make an AI called Cain and Abel. It doesn't make sense. Cain feels bad when everyone turned against him because that's what he was trying to avoid. They told him he was a failure and never listens. That's probably what he was told by his programmers. If we look at the torturing parts, we can try and figure out what they each mean. Pomni's was based off of losing Gummy Goo, which is somebody who she thought was she was really close to inside the digital world, but was killed right in front of her. Ragatha's is most likely based off of her mom, and you can see knives getting thrown at her hand, including her eye, which is probably why her digital body, she doesn't have an eye, because maybe when she was human, her mom might have attacked her, causing for her to lose an eye. Dangle gets tortured because with all these faces of happy, sad, because she just wants to be able to control emotions on her own, but she can't because she's stuck in this body where she has to rely on a mask to make her happy. I'm not really sure what the getting hit by the truck is. Zubul struggles with their own appearance and feels insecure about themselves. And I think Zubul's was the one that really got to me because of all the body parts and the mirrors. If that's symbolizing body dysmorphia, which is where somebody doesn't feel right in their own body. And with the mirrors, it's a constant reminder that this is who you are. So that was just wild. We all know that Jax doesn't want to be seen as weak. And this, what he goes through while being tortured is most likely him being scared that if people see past his nonchalant persona, he'll be made fun of and laughed at. That's also probably why he hates anything that's like feminine, because he's scared that if he doesn't look like what he is, that he'll be seen as like somebody who's like weak and stuff. Also, because he said that he's not capable of abstracting, because when you abstract, you basically go insane. But we're not really sure that's the real thing, but that's what they're being told, is that when you're insane, you abstract, and insanity is like for the weak. And that's one of the things why he's like, do you think I'm capable of getting abstracted? Some lines that Kane said that also shows that he was like rejected as an AI.
Why do you people torment me? I didn't have to be created. I just wanted to fulfill my purpose.
He just wanted to fulfill his purpose, and every single human in his life basically told him that he's not. Which is probably why he was crashing out when Zubul was like kind of implying that he's not good at what he does.
Adventures is my art. It's all I exist to do, all I'm good at. And what you're saying could imply that I'm bad at the only thing I'm good at, and that that'd be.
If you have any theories, let me know. If you think anything I said was wrong, let me know. Or if there's something you'd like to correct, like, well, actually, goosworx said this. Just tell me, okay? But yeah, there's not really much to say. So that was just mine. Okay.